Hello there, and welcome back to the channel. Guys, I have a genuine question for you. How is it that in 2024, we have not one, not two, but three legendary speedster movies, and not one of them is The Flash? I never thought Sonic would be putting Marvel and DC to shame, but Sonic 3 is pretty much everything I could have asked for in both a Sonic and superhero movie. I mean, the fight sequences, the visuals, the character development, even the humor continues to shine, especially with Jim Carrey as both Eggman and Gerald Robotnik. When I was a kid, I always dreamed of seeing Sonic on the big screen, and this particular installment fulfilled all my wishes. Not that the first two didn't, I still love them, but Sonic 3 really had an extra layer of emotional depth that fully cements this as a great franchise. Okay, from now on, this video will contain full spoilers for Sonic 3, so if you haven't seen the movie, then do not continue any further. Man, where do I even begin with my review though? Alright, I think I should just start out with the obvious. Okay, I'm gonna admit to something, y'all. I have not played Sonic Adventure 2.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
I know, it's pretty bad. There's really no excuse other than I was never able to play it as a kid. And by the time I knew this movie was coming out, I didn't want to play that or Shadow Generations because I wanted to experience Shadow's story for the first time. Sure, I kind of knew what was going to happen, but I didn't know the exact circumstances behind it. And that's why this movie restarted my depression, because Maria did not have to be done so dirty. I mean, we all saw it coming, but geez, it just pulls on your heartstrings. Even though we don't see like that much of her in the movie, you can obviously tell the impact she has on Shadow's life. Her line talking about how the star's lights continue to shine even after the star is gone was really good. It was super heartwarming. The scene where she and Shadow are just chilling under the stars is one of my favorite scenes in the movie, because she's the only person who ever viewed him as something more than an experiment, something more than a dangerous asset. So the fact that Shadow's only light is taken away from him, much like a certain other Keanu Reeves character, it's just really hard to see. Dude, she got cooked, like literally. Again, she nor Shadow had to be done so dirty in life. It's pretty crazy how a few well-written and acted scenes in a montage do so well to convey so much emotion. There are entire shows that can't even manage to do that. Man, props to Keanu Reeves once again. He did an amazing job with the voice acting. And of course, Shadow was like the best character in the movie. I mean, everything from using the motorcycle to taking out every member of Team Sonic in one go, and especially his Sith eyes lighting up in the dark. Anyways, Shadow's story paired super well with Sonic's. As obviously stated in the movie,
but where you found family and friends, Shadow found only pain and loss.
The two are foils. This is heightened when Shadow nearly kills Tom. I genuinely thought he might have died here. Like, a speedster hitting you at that level is likely to cause some internal damage. Shadow's reaction was great. Pain had been put on him, now he put pain onto others.
Now you have become the very thing you swore to destroy.
This was another parallel that really layered this conflict. Seeing Sonic go absolutely insane mode really added a lot of depth to his character. He's always been the jokester who doesn't take situations all that seriously, but seeing him pushed to the edge, nearly giving up his morals for revenge, was honestly just so cool to see. I love this exchange in the movie.
What did you do?
What I had to.
Yep, I already know I'm going to be repeating that quote a lot. Can I just take a moment to say the Super Sonic vs Super Shadow fight was amazing. The combos were actually going insane. Sonic really hit Shadow with that Injustice Superman finisher. And bro, getting punched all the way to the moon is actually crazy. I mean, talk about a legendary speedster fight. Anyways, probably my favorite scene of the movie is when the two finally reconcile on the moon. I love the parallel with the character's friend touching their hearts. See, this is how you write a good resolution, not
Save Martha! Why did you say that name?
Also, it's crazy to me that a movie with a $120 million budget looks 10 times better than whatever the hell Marvel and other huge blockbusters are doing. Not that 120 million is like chump change, but it's certainly a lot more manageable than like the 300 to 400 million dollars they put into the Marvels and Ant-Man 3. Okay, moving on from that, I also really enjoyed seeing Eggman's arc in this movie. I love Eggman as the traditional evil villain, but something about this iteration of the character just really spoke to me. I wasn't expecting him to sacrifice himself in the end, and to be fair, it could have been done poorly, but I thought it was really well executed. It was just neat expanding on why Eggman was so eager for power. He's still that big bad we all know and love for most of the trilogy. His backstory and sacrifice just flesh him out much better and pretty much turns him into a goated character. That said, I do hope he stays dead. I really want this story to hold weight, and if we find out he survived or Shadow saved him, I feel it would really undermine his arc. It would be nice to cap the story of this trilogy, calling it the Eggman arc. Let's move on to some other villains now. I was also surprised Eggman's assistant got quite a bit of development too. His conversation with Tails about being an assistant was another nice foil I hadn't really thought of. This dude did so much to help Eggman and he was still rejected. He could not catch a break, but his reconciliation with Eggman in the end was really heartwarming, something I never thought I'd say. Also, he had a dope intro in the movie. Okay, let's talk about Gerald for a bit. Jim Carrey did an amazing job with his character. Probably the best joke was when Gerald was confused why women were in the military. I mean, that one got me laughing out loud. I won't even lie to you. Anyways, I was not expecting this guy to get absolutely vaporized. I mean, geez, like, talk about a finishing blow. This guy just got wrecked. And dude, it's crazy that like both Gerald and Shadow was okay with committing themselves just to wipe out all of humanity. I respect the commitment. So we all know that the Death Egg is an obvious reference to the Death Star. However, in my opinion, this is better than what Star Wars did. Look, I love the original trilogy. Return of the Jedi is one of my favorite movies. However, I always felt the concept of a Death Star was kind of silly. I mean, I guess people aren't going to want their planets destroyed, but what if people get so fed up with the Empire that they decide to rebel anyways? What, you're going to destroy every planet in the galaxy? I mean, what is there left to rule? That's why this works so well in Sonic 3. Because Gerald and Shadow don't plan to leave this alive. They're so consumed with their rage and vengeance that they'll destroy the planet even if it means their lives. As Gerald puts it, humanity is a failed experiment. He and Shadow saw the worst people could do. Sonic's experience with Tom and Maddie showed him the kindness we can have. And it's only through that can he show Shadow that humanity is worth saving. Wait a minute. So, an alien who fled to Earth and grew up with human parents becomes the ultimate symbol for humanity's goodness? Damn it, Sonic also outdid the last 10 years of Superman. Superman and Lois was the GOAT, but every other depiction has just been edgelord after edgelord. Like, yes, some of these characters are interesting, but there's been absolutely no variety. I'm tired of my man being treated so dirty.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
I love the young people.
Hopefully James Gunn's Superman is good, but that's a conversation for another time. Okay, it's time to glaze another scene. The part where Sonic and Shadow finally team up with Live and Learn in the background was peak. I mean, the camera angles they use in this movie are just so good. And you all know what the best shot of this movie was. Super Sonic and Super Shadow facing the camera with that explosion behind them. I mean, it really doesn't get any better than that.
But this does put a smile on my face.
Before we get to my concluding thoughts, I'll rapid fire some unconnected points on other aspects of the movie. I was not expecting Jessica Jones to be in this movie. She didn't have like the most to do, and her motivations might have been a little silly, but I enjoyed seeing her. It was kind of just like a funny twist, given the fact like her show is like super dark and stuff, and she's in this like lighthearted movie now. I don't know, I thought that was kind of funny. I wasn't expecting the commander to die. We were like, 15 minutes into the movie and we already had a death? I mean, geez, rest in peace, man. Tails and Knuckles don't get the most character development in the movie, but I'm glad they still challenged Sonic to become a better team member, which he didn't fully learn till the end of this movie. The Robotnik music video was amazing. It was so well choreographed and edited. I mean, again, Jim Carrey he outdid himself this movie. Outside of the Eggman and Gerald stuff, a few of the jokes in the film didn't really land for me. I think some of them were just a bit on the predictable side. But overall, they do tone down the humor in this film to focus on Shadow and Sonic's journey, so it's really not a huge problem. Another nitpick is I think the final fight between Eggman and Gerald could have been edited a bit better. I thought it was still fun, don't get me wrong. It was just placed right after Sonic and Shadow had their emotional conversation. So tonally it didn't mesh super well. But the finishing blow and pretty much everything else in this movie was awesome, so I'll let it slide. Lastly, let's talk about that end credit scene. This was peak. Seeing all those metal Sonics was awesome. And Amy's intro, perfect. Like perfect. Her design is great with that cool robe and her classic hammer. I'm very curious as to what's going to be the story moving forward. Presumably and hopefully Eggman is dead. So who built all these robots? Why are they after Sonic? It could be possible they were still built by Eggman or Gerald before their deaths. And Metal Sonic is like solely focusing on his programming. Or perhaps we're getting a completely new villain. I mean, that could be interesting. Kind of a weird comparison, but this sort of reminded me of the Godspeed arc in The Flash Season 7. Now, obviously they kind of fumbled the bag there, but I feel like the arc had a lot of potential if it was longer and written better. If they're doing something similar that involves cloning and time travel, I'm hoping Sonic 4 becomes a much better version of that story. They're likely taking inspiration from Sonic CD or Sonic Heroes, but for now, that's purely speculation. I can't believe we have to wait like another 3 years for the next movie. This is spiking my depression again.
I need it!
So, overall, I had a lot of fun with this movie. In my opinion, they've pretty much perfected the formula to making a great Sonic story. I'd say the first one was a 7 out of 10. Still a lot of fun, but there were some kinks to work out with both the action and the writing. The second one is like an 8.5 out of 10 for me. A huge improvement with better set pieces and visuals. However, I still think they needed to work a bit on some of the tonal aspects of the story, which Sonic 3 definitely delivered on. I give the third installment a 9, maybe even a 9.5 out of 10. I think the only things keeping this back from a 10 are the delivery of some of the jokes, some of the CGI not being as consistently good and, like the less important scenes. And I would have liked one more proper fight between Shadow and Sonic. But these really are just nitpicks because I loved this movie. The parallels between Sonic and Shadow's journeys was amazing and the fight sequences were heavenly. I'm really excited to see where this universe goes next. But what did you guys think of Sonic 3? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching and may the Force be with you.